What's up,
Oh,
everybody? It's Keefy from GhostCultMag.com, and I'm super stoked to be joined by all of Grumpster. What a thrill. How y'all doing?
hey, doing good, doing.
So awesome. Congratulations on your new self-titled album out now on Pure Noise Record. We will link everything in the description where people can buy it, stream it, whatever. Please buy records, everybody that's watching this, because, bands can't exist if you don't buy their merch or you don't support them on tour. So much to unpack. I've been a fan of this band for a while, especially much more so after I saw you live for the first time with Warriors
Oh,
a few months ago. By the way, I was like high as a giraffe dick that day. I was baked out of my fucking mind. I don't know why I got like very strong weed from the dispensary, like pre-rolls, and I smoked this thing that like literally I went to Uranus mentally, but like I was coming down during your set and I was like, this is incredible. I love this band. And it's, for whatever reason, maybe I'm just tripped out, but it stayed with me. And I really got the four piece. Like before I heard any of the new music, I got what like this new lineup was going for. And I know the group has talked about, and shout out to Good as Gold PR in the UK for working with us and being so good to us, and Pure Noise. We've always supported their bands across the board. But I like the idea of like we reinvigorated the band with a lineup change. Usually a lineup change is like, oh no, what happened? But like this has been for the better for sure.
so awesome.
Yeah, thank you. Definitely appreciate that.
Alex,
Thank you.
yeah, that's Alex. Yeah, it came pretty naturally. They've been a friend for a long time, so sorting any kinks out happened pretty quickly. Yeah.
Yeah. We used to play shows together too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
with
yeah.
Alex's old band.
Yeah, I used to. Yeah, we used to
Like-
be I used to play in an adjacent band to Grumpster, so we were all very close friends for a long time. And me and Noel played together like a lot. So
Yeah.
it definitely had like a groundwork before, like years before, while they were still like doing Fever Dream and stuff.
Yeah.
I love Fever Dream. I bought the vinyl at a show and I was so pumped. And then this new record came along and is like, and it's very cliche. I'm doing music journalism a long time. I played in bands for a long time. And it's very cliche to say like this next thing is our best thing, but this really is like, I think a lot of people are going to come away with this. They may love the first music they ever heard from you, but I think this is going to be everybody's favorite Grumpster record.
We hope so.
I hope so too.
Of course, yeah, of course. First of all, is everybody okay? These songs are so sad and like it's so. I love the catchiness, but it's also like, is everyone all right in general? I'm not all right. I've been talking about it all year on these videos and live streams. I'm having a very rough year, more than I expected. Is everybody okay over there?
Everyone's chilling right now.
Everyone's doing
I feel like we have to ask. We're back to like, it's weird. We had like a boomerang back to when the pandemic Lovato times, because like we're all, I don't know why everything is so hard and everything is on fire and the world sucks. And it's like, I want to be hopeful and hope for the best, but it's also like, ah, damn. Ugh.
That's when all those songs were written. It was like after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fever Dream was like the pandemic baby.
Yeah. Definitely.
But this was like life after pandemic. Sometimes it just still be like that after. Whatever.
Still dealing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of, as a very anxious person in general, my whole life, I feel like there's a lot of dread, and not existential, like actual dread and anxiety that I think comes through in the lyrics and the music. But at the same time, it's like I come away feeling better listening to it. I don't know if that's a scientific thing or if hopefully making this music has made you feel better also, because it sounds like there was some rough times here sometimes.
You know what's funny? The word "dread" is the perfect word to describe it, and I didn't think of it once the entire time we made the album. I'm like, that's kind of the emotion that's being talked about.
Yeah.
At the root of a lot of it, but it just made sense when you said it.
I feel like it's been a trend.
I just feel like, yeah, I read, now I don't want to read super deep, but I think like, there was a lot of discussion about the straight ahead nature of some of these songs, and Fever Dream was maybe a little abstract on purpose. And now we're getting the raw Grumpster, and for real. But you seem upbeat in person. I said hi at the show and you seem super sunny and, excited to be there and love the fans and everything. And it was a great response.
Yeah, on tour, everything is fine. And then come home, nothing is fine. And then we get to like play a show and it's like, oh my God, dude, like life is beautiful. And then we don't play a show for a little while and it's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Then more happens again, shit's fine. Like it's crazy. So
I think we all go through that. People who go to shows, attendees of shows, concert goers, journos, we all feel like, oh, show night and tours are awesome. And then it's like, oh, regular life is back home and I can avoid it for now a little bit, but not good at adulting even at my age. So it's okay. We're all trying to just get through, you know? One thing that's great, like I said, I wrote, I know what I think about the record already, and I want to hear from you more than anything, but there's definitely a great flow to the tracks. Like I'm still a fan of old records. I listen to whole records. Obviously, sometimes we get a playlist or a mix or whatever, but I like to hear a whole record. And I like how this record was really sequenced. Even the shorter songs just flow well with the whole album.
thank you.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of intent with that. Like, there are some tracks we recorded that, didn't make it on the album. And I think, like, those calls are important to make. And I'm happy that, like, we made them for the album because I think it sounds a lot better now.
Yeah.
With that thought in mind, of, like, how the album should sound.
Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely put a lot of effort and time into sequencing. I think we all care about it. It's like, there was a couple of days there where we were just listening to it in different sequences and kind of seeing what felt right, where. And I feel like that's something that we've always done with our albums and in our live shows too.
Yeah.
It's definitely something that we put a priority in.
Yeah. But we were able to sit with it for like maybe a day and a half though with this one.
It was a quick turnaround that we had to kind of set this one. But with the help of our producer and all of us kind of sitting there and kind of really like brainstorming it, we settled on it pretty quickly.
Awesome. I love to hear it. And it's important. Let's talk about Pure Noise because I think, the band definitely had some love from the underground and did these major tours with bands I know I love. And then Pure Noise, I don't know how long that period of time came about or how that courtship happened, but I'm glad it did because I really want everybody to hear this thing. And like every band is a local band to start with and every band is a cover band to start with, but I just feel like this is such a good record. I want everyone possible to hear this thing.
Nice.
Thank you.
Thank
It's so nice. We've talked about it a few times. The label's been Pure Noise has been very, very supportive with this one. It's like very cool to see. It's it feels good for sure. To be on like the receiving end of that, like the push, because we've seen what they've done. They have a great track record, great roster, all that, and like really getting to experience that push and not just like what they can do for the band, quote unquote, but they're very supportive and collaborative, and we definitely feel like we have. It's not like we lost any stake in what we do.
Exactly.
It feels,
we got to do like whatever we wanted. Like we made all the art and stuff. They would just be like, "This is what we need," and then we'll help.
Yeah, very supportive.
Yeah, and it's been fun to like work with them, like being excited, and we're excited.
Yeah, it's been great.
And it's important, like people don't really appreciate that record labels don't really develop bands anymore. You have to show up ready to go with your following and have proved that you sold some records out of your car or at shows or on Bandcamp or whatever the heck. And they don't really develop artists anymore. So like when I see an emerging band, like a band that's coming up with these couple of great releases in a row and heading upward, like it's cool for me to see like a label putting some energy, the right kind of energy and the right attention on a band, because they don't grow artists anymore. You used to spend years, oh, you have a bunch of records that didn't sell, we're going to stick with you, don't worry about it. Now, does not happen.
Yeah, it's been really nice to like work together on it. It feels very like you said, collaborative.
Yeah.
Where it's like if like we don't like, post one day or something like they do, and then we like collab on that, and like they're always making sure we have what we need and like updating us with like information. It's really nice.
Yeah. Or if we're like, wondering about plans or moving forward, they're, very quick to help. I think we had like a question about a banner one time, like, and one of their people, or our like main contact was like, oh, let me like do some research, ask some other brands, and like I'll find some like where you can get a cheap stage banner, small stuff like that. It's like, oh, cool. Like there's a person that I can hit up and they'll, help me out a little bit.
Really awesome.
Resources. That's what labels can do for you in a positive way. We heard all the horror stories, but like I said, Pure Noise has my eternal respect. If you're curious about what kind of quality of character they have, check out what they did for Year of the Knife after their van accident, when they basically went all proceeds to the band when they put their record out after the accident. Like, unbelievable. Nobody does that. Nobody. And I'm praying for them, and they're working on their comeback now. They both announced their first show back, so I'm really thrilled for them. And some East Coast hardcore love, of course, along with the West. Donnie's originally from the East Coast, not at the same time. I lived in Salem, Mass, like before it was a gentrified crazy city, like 15 years ago. I spent 10 years in Boston and Salem, and it was a cool place, and it was like a nice underground city, and then suddenly the North Shore all became gentrified crap. So sorry, my condolences if your family is still there or anything.
Yeah, they are. Well, they live like around
the surrounding towns. Yeah, I spent quite a bit of time there, and the music scene in New England is awesome, and similar to New York, there's a lot of great places to play. But you came out west and found a scene, and this band, and the scene, and I think it's important. There's a lot of cool bands coming from the East Bay right now, similarly to the whole history of the East Bay, which it makes me really happy as a fan of punk genre. So I don't know if there feels like a scene. I know we lost some clubs during the pandemic, and some places reopened and some didn't, and some are still closing. But I don't know if you felt like there's a collective of cool bands there right now, or if it's just kind of like pockets.
I think so. I think it's like starting to hit its stride, in my opinion. Like post pandemic. Yes. You're totally right. There was definitely a thriving scene pre-pandemic, and then I think now we're like getting back to that still. But I think the quality of the bands coming out now is very cool. I think it's more exciting than it's been like in 2022 or 2021. Like it's on an upward trend for sure, in my opinion.
Yeah, and there's so many bands since the pandemic too that are coming out, and that's really cool to see.
Yeah,
it's a fun scene to watch, like morph. It's always changing.
Yeah. Totally.
And it's cool. The Bay will forever always have like a few really cool bands that are coming out of there and that are exciting. So it's fun just to be like in that space.
And if you're lucky, you might just catch Green Day playing like Motley Crue covers at a bar in Concord or Albany, like, because that's what they do sometimes.
I know.
Or buy their coffee at their coffee shop. But yeah, it's still a really cool place. I'm glad I came out here from the East Coast. I love it here. I'm never leaving, except in a box or a jar. Like, I'm not going. And I do love the music here. I think I saw that Pity Party is coming back. I thought they were going to retire or something. I might have seen somewhere that they might on Instagram that maybe they're plotting a comeback. Perhaps, I hope, because they're so good. Do you have any favorite local bands that are friends of yours, or just bands you admire and like to listen to?
Yeah, shout out Polka Dot.
I was gonna say Polka Dot.
They're a San Francisco band, super sick. We share the space with them the past while.
They're awesome.
Yeah, good band.
They're set this up.
Yeah, there's a band, Valentina Bludgeon, that I recently got into, and they are super. They're really cool. I'm like on their jock right now. I like really like the stuff they're doing, and they're like, it's cool to see. Like, I mean, they're like what, 19? I don't know the guys, but they look pretty young, and they're like making stuff that like is really interesting to me, and I like it a lot. So that's one band that I'm like really excited about coming out of the scene right now.
Nice.
Yeah.
Red. I will recommend one former guest of our show here, Tessin' the Details. Phenomenal record late last year. Love them. And love to see all of y'all play together. That would be insane. I know local gigs are, got to be planned out carefully. You don't want to overplay your hometown too badly. Yeah, that's the hope here. Just a few more things about the Grumpster record, just because it's just sticking out to me. Like I said, I love the production of the record, not just the step up musically and the things like the vocal harmonies. Shout out to both of you. So I want more singing together in the future, but I love the production. Like a lot of modern punk records the guitars don't cut through and you miss things. And I felt like I repeatedly listened to this record so many times already. And I love how it just sounds really fresh, and some records don't hold up on repeat listens.
Appreciate that's awesome.
I love listening to albums over and over and over and over and over. It feels really good.
Yeah. It's cool to think that
it feels that way.
Yeah, exactly.
I think my biggest anxiety going into like a new studio is like, what is it going to sound like? You know, because you just don't know
Yeah.
what you sound like in a studio. Even if you listen to bands that have come out of there and you're like, you know, like you kind of see a pattern, but you just don't know how you're going to sound there. So I think with the release and everything and hearing feedback, like it makes me feel good about the decision and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Right on. Was there any songs that changed in the studio, or you know, something else popped up while you were recording that made you change a song, or did you like pre-pro everything and come in with the demos as full songs ready to go?
We actually recorded and wrote. Well, we wrote about half the album there.
Yeah. And
Just
We recorded the
just
whole
about
Yeah, we came in with some demos, and we even changed most of
all
those
of those.
demos.
I mean,
Everything's like a little bit different. The only song that has almost no difference is SSB.
Yeah, that's true.
But besides that, we tweaked any other song that we brought in, we tweaked, and any song that we obviously didn't bring in, we wrote there. So, we went into the studio and everything was different when we came out. Yeah, like musically, song wise, and structures changed, and So it's a completely unique thing to that. We did some pre-pro, but it didn't. You know, that was just
It's like warm up.
I don't know.
It's like just getting more for the studio to be able to be flexible in there.
No, that's important. That's really cool. Shout out Donnie on the trumpet on Waste. I know the trumpet is like the secret, not so secret trademark for you. And I love when it makes an appearance live. I hope Waste, you know, maybe not a typical song to play live, but I hope it forces another trumpet appearance live. I wrote about how much I love that final couple of, you know, verses of the song, and the chorus is so huge. I want it live, like the whole crowd singing back to you. I hope it happens.
The hard part with that song is after we recorded it in the studio, we need like another person to be able to pull it off live.
Yeah.
So we need to figure that out just for that one song too. So it's not worth like getting a whole.
There's some we're thinking about it. There's some
Word. I know you have some touring planned. Beside, you know, what's coming up for you. I believe that's still happening. You know, what can we share with everybody that we can help promote?
When does this come out?
Eventually. Soonish, probably sometime later this month if we're lucky. We're cutting through the backlog. I've been doing too many of these, so now I'm we're reducing starting now. I have other people on staff interviewing other people, but we've talked about the tour. We have a weekly live stream where I talk mostly about festivals and tours, and we'll plug it on, you know, our website and social media and stuff like that. So like there'll be, before this interview, there'll be still more news stories coming out about, you know,
the Avalanche one is canceled, so we're not doing that
in May.
But we are doing a Gilman show June 1st that we're planning to announce tomorrow. So that will be public knowledge by the time this comes out. So Gilman June 1st, and then we got some stuff in the works for late summer. Yeah. Nothing that we can.
Alrighty. I'm sorry about that tour getting canceled. I wasn't 100% sure, and I was bummed to see the original Gilman called off. I was like, oh, that's a bummer, but I'm glad you're rebooking, and we love Gilman, and we need to protect Gilman and keep Gilman going because it's important. I lived in New York when CBGB shut down, and it was the worst thing ever in my life. It actually coincided with me moving to Boston, not on purpose, but it just happened that way, that the last few months of CBs is when I left New York, and I was like, I've never been right ever since. It's just it's weak sauce that they let it go out of business, you know?
Yeah, it's tough to hold up something like that for that one.
I know.
So I'm glad. I mean, they're doing great. So I think there's no signs of them slowing down or wanting to slow down. So we're stoked to, you know, return there. Yeah, like our yearly, I feel like, is kind of our thing. Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah.
Just the last couple of questions. You know, what's your favorite songs? I know mine. You read the review. What are your favorite songs on the new record that we will hope to hear live?
My two favorite are Brand's Motto and Burn Needs His Meds. Mm-hmm. Those are two of my favorites to listen to. I really like playing them too. I think Sun's really fun to play. But not something that I listen to when I just jump into the album and kind of poke on a couple songs. But yeah.
I would say SSB is probably my favorite song. I think it's the funnest. And I just, you know, when I play it, I'm just like, I don't focus on anything else but like playing the song.
Yeah.
And it's one of the few songs that happens with.
Yeah.
So it's like very fun to play.
Yeah, I feel that way about Gray. It's a song that's like fun to play. I can kind of do it on cruise control. A song that we haven't played much since we recorded it, but I do like it a lot. Like in terms of on the album, is Bones is one of my favorite songs. It's a little hard. It's a lot of stuff going on.
Burn is one of my favorite songs. It's fun to play. I like playing all of them, but singing Bryn's Motto is really, really hard. So that's probably my least favorite song to play.
Oh,
No one asked your least
Well,
favorite.
it wouldn't be Grumpster if we didn't know what the least favorite thing would be. Amazing. Just last question, because I always love to end with a wild card question. You know, these are particularly tough times everywhere, like I said, and they're tough times here in Northern California. Best and worst part of living in the East Bay, each one of you.
Okay.
I'll go first. Best is, I think,
Mine.
food. I like the food's really good. It's good for like, I like a lot of sushi and Asian food, so there's a lot of that, especially on the block that I live on. Worst thing I would say is just it's expensive as all hell. Even the cheap stuff is not cheap, so it's tight. Like tight, not tight, but it's tight.
Like double meaning to me.
It's tight, but it's not tight at the same time.
There's always something going on. So if you're wanting to get out of the house and, you know, if you feel like the world's imploding on you, you can just go do something and you'll see friends and you'll run into people. And I love that part about it. It's also home, so it's like it feels very like cozy. Worst part about it, yeah, it's so expensive. But you know, you gotta do. Also, just like rude driver. People, there's like a lot of inconsiderate people. Not like specifically here, just I think in the world. So that kind of gets on my nerves. But
Rough day.
yeah,
rough day.
Yeah, work was tough today. But no,
Yeah, I think my favorite thing is probably just the weather. It's just perfect.
Yeah, great one.
Yeah.
There's literally no other place on earth I can imagine being as temperate and nice year round
So
as the Bay Area. So very fortunate to live here. It's very expensive. Other than that, it's amazing. You know, food, Mexican food, second to none in the world, probably. It's great. You know, sushi, ramen, it's all amazing.
all that shit.
it's also just pretty.
We don't really have great bagels, but that's okay.
Yeah,
I know the sandwiches. Oh my
There's
god.
some good bagels.
Let me get a Taylor ham, egg, and cheese, please. Oh man, that's the only thing. We don't have sandwiches out here.
Mine is like the nature and like the views and shit here. It is so beautiful, gorgeous everywhere. So I love that. And then the worst thing is there are too many goddamn people here. It's crazy.
You moved here.
Yeah, what are you talking
No, I
about?
know.
Yeah,
It's all good.
too many people.
No, there are.
Back in the day, there were so many.
I could leave.
Before you did.
I could leave. I'm not saying I deserve to be here more than anybody else. That's not how I mean it, but there are too many people. If I was anywhere in the world and there were this many people, I would be annoyed.
There's a lot.
There's a lot of people at a lot of
Like,
there's a lot of people everywhere.
Everywhere, always, no matter what, dude, go home. So
Fun fact, I left Brooklyn to come here because there was less people. I was like, where can I live that's like Boston but no snow? San Francisco and the Bay Area. So that's my journey. We're all on one together. The decidedly upbeat, chipper, and funny Grumpster. I'm not supposed to have favorite bands or records because I'm a journalist, but I'm fucked because you are one of my favorite bands that I have seen and heard, and maybe even more than that other. I don't know if they're ever gonna make it. You might have heard of that band Green Day. They put a record out earlier this year too, but I like yours more. And I'm trying not to play myself too hard, but I really appreciate you, and I want you to be happy and safe. Good luck on tour. We'll see you at Gilman probably. And thanks for everything. I appreciate y'all so much.
Yeah, thank you. Great chatting.
oh my god.
Real,
We'll see you soon in the wild, hopefully.
Yeah, for sure.
have a good one.
Take